I'm not saying I'm innocent. I was a driver of a tragedy.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Room Went Dark, the true crime in film, where we discuss film, TV, and documentaries, all based on real events. I'm your host, Lorraine, and I'm joined by my co host, Amalie. Hello, Amalie.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well. Here we are again. Yeah.
Talking like this.
I know, but I think we're both kind of quite excited to talk about this one because I think we both had some interesting reactions to it when we watched it. So
Yeah, and that is the Netflix documentary that was out here called The Crash, which is entirely based on the story of a case in 2022 with Mackenzie Shirilla, who, air quotes, intentionally crashed her car into a building in Ohio. And unfortunately, two boys, 20-year-old Dominic Russo and 19-year-old Davion Flanagan, both of them were killed. She
yeah.
wasn't. I mean, we've seen the footage of that car, how fast it was going. We've seen the black box of the, I didn't know cars had a little black box, by the way. That was the first time I ever knew
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. They
How
knew what
fast she was
cars do,
going.
right, I
Did you
think.
know that? I just thought it was aeroplanes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess airplanes do, so yeah. But like, I don't think it's like I think it's like new I say
A new
newer
thing.
cars, but yeah,
Yeah.
like my banged up old Fiesta wouldn't wouldn't have one, but I
Was it
certainly
it
think so.
it was one of those things where you're surprised that I was surprised that she came out of it alive, because
Yeah.
nobody should have survived that. And unfortunately the two boys
Very
didn't. And
shame.
it's basically this whole case of she's saying it wasn't on purpose, and she got done for murder for the two of them. So obviously, you know, the powers of be believe it was done on purpose, otherwise she wouldn't have got that. But I think
Yeah.
like me and Emily were just chatting, I've watched quite a bit of stuff online of kind of the aftermath of all this. And I'm very much team, this girl needs to just be quiet. If she wants to appeal, that's fine, but
Check
do her
out like in
time
prison.
and stop with this whole thinking that she's on a reality show and going to become famous for
Oh,
this.
is it kind of gone down that route, has it?
Oh, good Lord.
Because
Honestly,
I
that
know on the actually on the documentary there was that one bit where like her and her mum had like gotten back to like a PR thing like through social media, like not like a literally like a couple of days after it happened or something like that. And that, most people were kind of just like, well, that's distasteful kind of thing. So yeah, I didn't realize that there was more
yeah,
stuff.
there's a lot. So I think from the documentary, looking at um with documentaries, we say with true crime especially, you kind of have to take everything with a pinch of salt, because it is like they make him a certain way to get you to feel a certain way.
Sure.
Now at the end of the documentary, the mother talked about text messages of from Dominic saying about how once he was going to pull the car off the road and all this kind of stuff, so trying to basically make it look like maybe he caused the accident. It's like she was trying to push the blame. And Davion, she was like barely acknowledged his existence. You know what I mean? So, and Mackenzie, I think through before I saw any extra stuff online, because I didn't really know anything about. I didn't know what the crash was. Put it that way, until this year.
Okay,
I
yeah,
hadn't a clue about it. Um,
yeah.
and her and her friends and her parents all come across really bad, and like it's a big joke to them all. That's how I felt it. And her friends, especially the Rosie, who was oh, I met her and I thought she was like, you're cute. No, you're cute. And she wouldn't talk to the lawyers, yet she would talk to Netflix. You know what I mean? So, and she's, oh, I had 200,000 followers and she only had a few. Like, it didn't
I
look
feel
good.
like that's just girls of that age though, right? Like it's a younger generation to us. Like I kind of for me, I felt like I came away almost feeling like Mackenzie had kind of like a not a not like a I don't want to use the word split personality, that's not what I mean, but like two very different versions of herself that she flitted between, in the sense of like I think like the friends that were in the friendship group um knew the kind of like fun loving cool girl side of her, as did her parents. They got this kind of very sweet version of her, to the point that she was just kind of allowed to do whatever she wanted because they assumed that she was just a well-behaved kid. But then you would see all these videos of her, even in, yeah, and it's tricky, isn't it? Because even with like the TikTok and the social media of her being like, fuck you, if you know, like she's 17, that could be just like a persona that she's putting out
I think it
on.
shows manipulation,
I
and her
think just,
parents were morons.
I do think, yeah, but I do agree.
Yeah.
I think she was very good at being able to,
Yeah.
manipulate and sort of, she would have made a brilliant actor, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think she should be given that opportunity
No,
personally.
no, definitely not.
But yeah, there was just like I came away feeling really like just very confused internally about watching it. I felt really, it really stuck with me afterwards. I was just like, I can't let this go always. Like
I know what you mean. It was like there was one bit in it because like you said, she was only 17, and that's no excuse. 17, she if it
she's
was
young, she's
intentional, she
young.
knew what she was doing. And I personally think it was because I didn't remember just before. Like, I mean, what do you think's going to happen? You know the town, you know where you're driving, all this kind of stuff. Anyway, um, but I think the way her parents spoke, and there's been a lot of stuff coming up about them. Right, there's this bit where you get them. I don't want my daughter to go to jail. No, honestly, she's really sweet. She's lovely because they're defending her from a parental point of view, and I get
Yeah,
that. I'm
they're
not
going to.
slagging them off for that because we do what we can, and but I think they were so unwilling to kind of put any of the blame on her.
Mhm.
It was like always
Yeah.
something else. And I get they didn't want her to go to jail and they would do what they had to get out of jail. But, when he was like, we never had to discipline her. Well, maybe you should have, first of all. And he's like, and so what? She's smoking weed. Like, you smoke weed, I smoke, we've all, and it was just, and I know at the end of the day, I'd rather meet a person on weed than someone drunk because like, people on weed do tend to be more calm in general, but I'm not saying that everybody is. Drunk people, you never really hear he was on weed and he got into a big fight. It's more alcohol that tends to do that. But I wouldn't be encouraging my 17-year-old daughter to smoke it to the point where she's driving along in the car herself. There was lots of
Yeah,
video
like quite
footage
regularly by the
which I
sounds of it.
presume is still illegal. Like I don't, it's not legal to drive
Don't,
smoking
as
weed, I
far as I'm
presume.
aware. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
don't
you
think it's
are,
legal.
you're like I've tried it. I'm terrible on it. It makes me very tired and sleepy. Maybe when people do it, I knew a girl that smoked it, and I was like, "How do you drive?" Like she goes, "Oh, because I'm used to it. Doesn't really have that impact." I'm like, "Then why I'm used to
Well,
having a
yeah, you
glass or
become
two of wine,
intolerant,
but
intolerant
yeah,
to a degree, right? You can kind of, I think after some time, if you've been smoking it quite a
mm,
lot, you can, I mean, probably shouldn't because it's still going to slow your reactions down. But
yeah."
um, yeah, like I just, from that perspective, like if that was my 17-year-old daughter and I was seeing videos of her smoking weed while she was driving, man, the foot would go down. Like,
But
because
it
she's not
showed
18 yet. She is still a child
no,
in
and
my
that's not.
eyes. Like,
I feel like that's been going on longer than 17. Like I don't feel like she started at 17. I
oh, not like the weed smoking. No, definitely. Obviously, like, how they can drive from like 16,
think
can't they?
15 in
16.
some places.
Shut up.
I
That's a
think.
ridiculous young
I
age to
think
start
I'd have to
driving.
check that with my husband because he obviously was driving in America and he was a child there.
That's
Um,
crazy.
but also there's a part of me like that they think that she's so untouchable and can't do anything wrong. I'm not being funny. If your kid's doing something stupid like smoking while driving, but you don't care, I would be, you probably shouldn't film that. Because if you
Yeah.
did have an accident while you were smoking that and there was a video of you smoking that you smoke and drive, well, you're screwed.
Well, you are screwed. Yeah.
So like where that kind of me showed that they're like, oh, sure, it's fine, whatever. She's grand, nothing's gonna happen.
It's
you
like
know?
they were trying to play the cool parent card, like the kind of the hands off, like let her do what she wants kind of thing. But
Yeah.
actually, it kind of lent into kind of neglectful parenting, in my
It did. It
opinion.
did. And she was like living with him as well at the time. And
Yeah, yeah,
there's stories that he was trying to get her out, but it sounds like they had a very up and down relationship, which, I get, like, that happens. You're young and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
And it looked like he had a good job and he was making good money and he was buying her stuff and all that kind of stuff. So you know, it looks like they were a proper couple, but also, you heard some stuff where they was quite aggressive to each other. Like, I think, but on both parts,
Oh
probably
yeah,
there.
definitely
Yeah.
like an element of, as the cool kids say, toxicity, that kind of
Mm.
like it wasn't like a didn't feel like a healthy relationship to some degree, but it was that very kind of like young love, kind of unhealthy dynamic.
Yeah.
There's sort of like they obviously cared for each other a lot and there was a lot of love there, but there were obviously points when she, and it was in the documentary where she would speak to him and swear at him and
Oh, yeah.
call him
Yeah.
names, and it's not a healthy relationship. I say healthy, but you know what I mean. But yeah, like yeah, I mean, I can't the way that she had driven, either she just hadn't really kind of thought about it at all, or she was driving in a way that was like, I'm gonna just kill us all. Because I don't think she expected to survive that.
I
I
don't think she
genuinely
did
don't.
either. I think
Or
I
maybe she didn't
that's
think about it.
why
I don't know.
that's why I think it was intentional,
Yeah.
really, because, you know, if you're willing to do that to yourself, or she could have been extremely paralyzed, like, no movement whatsoever.
Yeah.
Um, you're doing that in the heat of a moment. Like, you've thought about that, or you're angry, or you're reacting, and I think that's the thing. I think that the fact that she was willing to do that shows that was, and it may, like, I know we can react when we're angry and we can do things that we wouldn't normally
Yeah.
do and stuff like that, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, two boys died out of whatever that reaction was. And I don't think we'll ever find out what truly happened. And I just think that her parents, who show no remorse, if I was the families of those two boys, I would just be like, what is wrong with you? Because honestly, the dad's apparently either quit or lost his job out of it. There's rumors going around that him and the daughter were, you know, doing stuff that a
Oh,
father, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, there's all those rumors going around. And and there's also stuff going on about how mean she is in prison to people, and she's calling people the R word, which we don't say anymore, retard. Yeah. Um, and when she was in the documentary and she was in prison and she's talking to the camera, there's nothing authentic about it. It's all very scripted. It's just not my character and all this kind of stuff. Have you seen yourself? And I do get what you said. Social media is a performance for some people.
Sure.
Sometimes I think that, to me, that's who she was. That's how she came across. I know I didn't know her, and this is just what my impression of her was.
She definitely had an alter ego. We just don't know which
Yeah.
one was the true one, I
God, I
guess, on that
know.
one.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely think there was a bit of an ultra. Is it ultra? Not ultra ego.
Alter ego?
Alter ego. Alter ego.
As in like
Alter
alternative
ego.
alter
Um,
ego.
yeah,
Well, maybe
yeah.
alter ego as well, to be fair to her. She definitely.
But also, the mum and the dad were very different to me in how they were. The dad was, you like, I'm cool, I just let them do what they want. Whoa, here, have some nunchucks. You're four. Um, whereas the mum was like, I will do whatever you tell me to do. And when you hear a lot of the phone calls that are going on, and this is what I find really sad. Now she's bringing this on herself. She's a woman. She's not a kid anymore. She's in her 20s, isn't she? She's like 22 or something now.
Yeah.
And she's the phone calls she has with her mum that I've heard. So I'm not saying they're not out there, but this is just the ones that I have heard. Um, are very. How are we gonna spin this in, out there in the media? How are we going to answer the Facebook messages, the Instagram messages? Oh, reading, what people say. So reading comments and all this kind of stuff. And I was thinking to myself, like, if I was the mother, I would be doing everything I could to kind of like keep away from all that. Like, right, you're in here, you've been done for the crime. Let's work on you and getting you to last prison, because I've never been in prison, but it's probably hard. Do you know what I mean? And mentally, it's probably a massive change to the system. Like, do you know what I mean? Shock to the system. And I never feel like with any of the conversations I've heard about like kind of like obviously she's got all these appeals and everything, but kind of like, look, we need to work on you here, not getting you, because when she hears about people saying things, she's like, oh really, oh really, oh my god, they said what they said, stuff like that. And I'm
Okay.
like, they're more interested in what people are saying, you know than kind of her well-being. And while, like I said, she's an adult and she's playing into this, if I was the mother, I would be taking the control here, saying, look, we're not doing this. I'm not calling you. I want to call you and ask how you are. I want to call and see how you're getting on. Do you want to talk? Are there any problems? I don't want to call you to tell you what Jake 7452 has said. Like, do you know
Mhm.
what I mean? And that's what the phone calls are. And another thing I was wondering, because it does say, these calls are being recorded. Who's releasing them?
That's a fair point. Yes.
I was like,
I mean, I imagine she could potentially request them herself, like it's her.
but she's not coming across. Like if I was the appeal person, I'd be like, I don't think so. Like, I think it's
And this one
damaging
up.
her so much. It's really not doing good. And when she talks, she's like, fuck this. Like, do you know what I mean? There's laughing, there's joking, there's swearing, and it's not that I'm precious about swearing, but it's just, and then every now and again, she'll be like, as if she's really sad about what happened to the boys and it was her boyfriend and you know what I mean? So it's like, oh shit, it feels like more like, oh, I haven't said anything sad yet. I better say something sad. It doesn't feel authentic at all whenever she says about the boys. They're
Mm.
kind of just this pawn. I feel like the two of them are a pawn to get her. Because when she comes out of here, it's going to be, it's going to be madness.
She's gonna struggle, I think. I mean, the possibility is that she's not getting out for a very long time because if she can put as many appeals in as she wants,
Yeah.
but I think the only thing, I guess, in her defense that I did notice in the documentary was one actually when she was placed in the back of the police car. I wasn't entirely certain that she knew that she was being filmed, and she didn't break sort of like cover, if you will. Like
Mm.
you could see that she was sat there and she was incredibly upset. Whether she was upset about the fact that she'd been caught and arrested,
And she'd
or
just been in a really bad car crash,
right,
you know?
exactly. Like so, I don't know. There seemed like a realness to her in that particular video from inside the car. That actually I was a little bit like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. And then even with the slipper that had got caught
Mm.
underneath the pedal.
Yeah.
I don't know. There were a couple of things that was just like, okay, that's interesting. But I think it's the way that kind of Netflix do it, right? There was, to have been sat in that room and listening to the defense going through um the evidence and stuff. Like I think it was pretty bloody clear. And a lot of the people in the room at the time, as like Dominic's family, for example, like his dad and his sister had gone to sit with Mackenzie's parents in support, and they were all there together to be like, "This is crazy. Of course she didn't do it. She was her boyfriend. She was Dominic's boyfriend." And then slowly it becomes really apparent that, well, hang on a second. I don't know how that. I don't know. Just all of it is just bonkers to me. Like that, I think. the first sort of like half of the documentary, you're like, okay, this is weird, like,
Hmm.
and then just as bits come out, you're just sort of like, this is crazy. This is actually
I I know what you mean about the car thing, but you can imagine a lot was going on. You've just been cut out of a car. You've been told that Davion and Dominic have died.
yeah,
You were driving. There's people around you. You don't know what part of your body's been broken. You're probably in a lot of shock and all that kind of stuff. So that probably was very genuine. And I don't personally think she set out to kill them. I don't think that she was like, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out and murder these two people, because in another way, a car crash as she survived isn't guaranteed. You know what I mean? That's that. And had they survived, they could have said, she did this, she did that. Like, do you know what I mean? So there would have been,
yeah,
and I do think, and that's not an excuse. The actions did cause the death of these two guys, and you do deserve to be, some form of punishment for it. I like I said, we were talking about before. I think personally, it just something's happened in that car. She's lost her shit,
yeah. I
and
think there's an undiagnosed mental health disorder going on in there
it's
personally, like a
to me,
personality
yeah,
thing.
I agree with you there, but I think it's I don't know what they call it, like this kind of grandiose, you know,
Like
there's a term.
narcissist kind of.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah, that kind
yeah.
of thing. I think I do agree with you there. I do think that she has, you know, um, she's definitely a narcissist, and I think that's um what is going on with her.
Yeah,
Um, because when you do hear her talk, it's very me, and then throws in a few, you know, I wish this had never happened. I loved him and all this kind of stuff. But it just feels very staged to me. That's just my personal opinion. Now her mum, I listened to a thing today, and her mum read this big long comment that someone had left, and it was all very in her favor. So she
okay.
loved that. Oh, I can't believe he got it type thing. It was all he's right basically type thing. So she was loving listening to that because someone was basically saying,
Yeah.
um, but
But
obviously there's
what's the alternative? Like when that's your kid,
no
like
the
you
the the mom I get, the mom I get, I think the mom thinks what she's doing is right,
yeah, I think she does.
you know,
Yeah.
um,
She's
and
defending her daughter, isn't she, to the
exactly.
nth degree. But like you said earlier, I think there is an element there where I don't think that's helping her at all,
I
really.
don't think it's helping her one little bit, and I
Yeah.
don't think it's teaching her um remorse. I think she just comes across really entitled. She comes across like a brat, you know.
She kind of,
Um,
sorry, by the sounds of it, like the way she was sort of allowed to just get away with stuff. Like there were even like the school, the people when they'd spoken to like I think it was like the headmaster or someone at school or something, that she'd been reprimanded in school for
oh,
something, and the
that's
dad
good enough for me.
and he was like, it's good enough for me. You're like, whoa,
Yeah.
hang on, where was the conversation afterwards to be like, okay,
What happened?
didn't mean to, what happened? Okay, you didn't mean to do it, but next time, like you need to be a bit more careful. I can't remember what the incident was.
Yeah. No,
That
no.
happened. But, it was just the way he was just like, I believe my daughter. She's,
Well, there's lots
which
of parents like that. Not my kid. Not my kid. You get that a lot.
they don't
Whereas,
do that. Like,
I
but they
won't.
have. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think because I have done it in the past myself. I've gone straight to believe what I was told about something my child did, and
Yeah.
then a mother messaged me the next day saying my daughter was there and said that she didn't do it, and I felt bad for not believing her. Like, do you know what I mean? So
Sure.
since that
Yeah.
day, I will now have a conversation with her. So if I'm told she's done something, I'll just go, okay, can you just let me have a chat with her, and I'll get back to you on that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because I want
That's
to,
not a
and I
mother.
think that's the thing. If he turned around and he had said, um okay, so what to the school? So what are you telling me happened? Right, okay, explain to me your side of things,
Yeah, we
you
go
know?
home, we sit down and we
Yeah,
have a serious
yeah,
talk about it to say,
yeah,
this is
exactly.
what I've been told. What's your version of it? Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Because just like taking her home and like not having any kind of conversation
Mm.
whatsoever, just completely, straight away she's like, okay, well, I can just like do whatever I want and there's no consequences.
And as well, she could
Yeah.
say, well, this, and this happened. And he could be like, okay, I can see why they thought that. Because
Mm.
sometimes we do things and we say things and we're like, what? And then, someone would go, oh, yeah, but to them, I can see why they might have taken it that way. Or,
Yeah.
oh, it did look a bit like this, but I get what you mean. So maybe we could
Yeah.
go back and explain that this is what you meant and sorry that they picked it up wrong or whatever it is, because this happens all the time with people. We misunderstand people all the time. But I think just to blatantly turn around and go, all right, and that
Yeah.
shows when it comes to this crash, he takes that attitude with it. And this is a lot more
Yeah.
serious, like, you know what I mean? Because
I
of
mean, it's
the
like as
outcome.
about as serious as it can get. Like
Yeah.
two boys have died,
Mm.
There's families that are kind of sat around like, oh, what the F has happened here? You're driving home at like 5 in the morning, supposedly with, she's driving and the toxicology
It
report
was
is
clear.
saying
Yeah.
there's nothing in her
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
So what has happened in those last moments where either this is premeditated and
Pots.
pre-calculated?
Remember they started
Well,
on about
I
the
mean,
pots.
yeah, I mean, okay, so she might have POTS, but I don't see how. I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't have POTS, so unless someone with POTS can verify that you'd
Mm.
put your foot down on a pedal as far as it could go if you passed out, then. But generally, when you pass out, like
Yeah, that's when you
everything
pass out. Yeah,
is
that's what they said.
relaxed.
Your
You don't.
foot wouldn't push down, it would
Yeah.
come off if anything.
Well, yeah, because you
Um,
just, unless it was like dead weight down on the pedal,
but then
but
I'm not being funny.
I
If
don't know.
if that happened and it was dead weight down, those boys would have kicked her foot off of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I
They
mean,
would
that
have,
was
yeah.
possibly what happened though, wasn't it? Because there was like a turn to the left and turn to the right, and then like a sharp turn to the right, I think they said. Like right, left, right.
Well, maybe they were trying to stop her from what she was doing.
But either they were
You
trying
know?
to stop her from what she was doing,
Yeah.
or she'd lost control. I mean, I'm not trying not to entertain the idea that POTS was the answer because I
Yeah.
don't want it to come across like I'm being insensitive to the family members because that's not.
No, I think
Mm.
that's a bullshit thing. I personally just think it's
Yeah.
something that they're trying to find something
Can
that
you
they can
imagine
blame.
though if it is and she's like just in prison for like the rest of her life because she's essentially just like at the will.
But
But
I'm not
also
being,
then like why the fuck does she driving? Like
that's what I was
so
about
say
to
if you've
say.
got POTS, like why are you letting
Yeah.
your child drive a car while smoking weed and they've got POTS? Like no, sorry.
Maybe there's, if there is people with pots and they're listening to this, maybe, me and you are
They can
coming into
enlighten
it
us.
blind.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
but
I don't want to make any assumptions, but
no, no, exactly. But I do think they were just throwing that out there to see will it stick. Another thing that come out in one of the conversations I heard between her and her mum is her getting really arsy because she hadn't received her iPad yet.
oh,
And I was
okay.
like, I was like, they're allowed to have iPads in prison,
Yeah,
and
of course they are. They get
you know,
stations and all sorts in prison, don't they?
yeah. But I was like, yeah, but do they get to have
But they camp.
social media and the internet and
Probably. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure actually. Yeah.
yeah.
I haven't got
I
a
know
clue.
they do get because I had a friend that worked in the prison once, and he was telling me all the stuff that some of them had, and I was like, they got more stuff than me. Do you know? They just don't have this
Yeah.
freedom, I suppose. But um, but yeah, she doesn't come across. I think even at some points, the mom has made the odd comment. Oh, I don't know. She was going to change something in her bio, and she was like, "Oh, I don't know how that would look." So there are times where the mom is going, I don't know if
One
that's, yeah,
second.
yeah, you're not going to come across in a good light here, but it is all, and that's why I don't have any sympathy for her or her family because it's just one big massive PR stunt. And when she comes out of here, I mean, maybe in 10 years' time, people won't forget it. When she gets out in 50, because she's got 15 years to do. Um,
Yeah.
and when she gets out, everyone's going to want to talk to her.
Of course they
There
will.
will
They'll
be
pay
book deals.
her. She
There
got
will
loads of
be talk
fucking money
shows.
from it,
Yeah. There will be podcast episodes. I mean, if podcasts are still around in that time, but there will be something. She's going to make money out of this. But I don't know if it's the case over here in America. but I know there is one place, but I can't think of where it is, where there's kind of like this law out there that you can't benefit. I think it is in America with some things like, I think we were talking about Monster or when we were talking about Ted Bundy. I can't remember which one, but they
Yeah,
can't benefit financially from their crimes.
good.
Yeah.
You should
And,
be able to.
but would this be classed as the same? Because Gypsy Rose, who killed her mother, now obviously that was a very different situation. Her mother had that, were made her sick all the time type thing. Anyway, that was a whole
Mhm.
different situation. And she goes on to shows and stuff to talk about it. And I presume she's making money out of it. So I think because we do see it a lot where people make money from their experiences of doing stuff,
Well,
bad
I
stuff.
mean, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So
mean,
I
I
wonder,
think it's tricky, isn't it? Because, if someone's gonna go on a show and talk about their private life, then in theory, yeah, you should pay them for it. But I, in this case, and in these cases that we talk about, where it's like, it's just someone that's ended two people's life,
lives.
whether they meant to or not, whatever happened in that car, that has still happened. And I just think it's like tone deaf to be able to then go onto a show and only talk about it and get paid for it. And I don't know.
Well, the parents should get some. Like I think if you make money from something like this, I
Would they
think that they're,
accept it though?
huh?
Would they
But
accept it?
donate it then. It's just you can't keep X amount. Like, do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, don't like they could take it and then put if there's been any kids born since it, or they've got any kids there that they could give them a college fund or something. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah, or
yeah,
like if there's some sort of like foundation or like,
yeah,
or
charity or yeah.
charity that they can put towards like, I don't know, support for bereft parents. I don't know, something. Just anything that doesn't involve her keeping all of that money, but I suspect that she bloody well.
Oh, they
But
will. Like
definitely. I don't know,
there
who knows?
there was one moment in it when she was talking to her mum, and she was practically giddy when her mum told her that it made the Daily Mail and hit the UK. She was like, "Oh my God, he's here." Like it was very much this.
That's bizarre.
It was like when you see there have been moments like when you're watching like a documentary or video and the person's song is made number one. You know what I mean? They've done it. Oh my God, it was like it felt like that. It felt like that.
That to me is so odd. Like odd, I can't even, odd is not even, doesn't even cut it. But to be excited about the fact that something that you have done that has killed someone or two people has made it over the pond, that's not something to be excited about.
Yeah, it was
Like
like
I'd be
the
like, oh fuck. Like
yeah,
now the UK know about it as well, great. Like, you know.
yeah, yeah. And inmates are coming out and talking and doing videos and all this kind of stuff that we're in there with her. I mean, it's an
Mhm.
absolute like, and they're getting follows and views and because everyone wants to hear about it. So it's not just her. It's this.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing it, talking about it here. I mean, we don't get any money, but there's a podcast I listen to. It's a massive podcast, and she's put out like 4 episodes. I haven't listened to them because it's just too much. Um, and I find the calls quite hard to listen to because they're not clear and they're like loud and
Right, okay.
poor me. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I find her very hard to deal with and her family. And I think now all that stuff that's come out about her dad and because they're basically where they're I don't know how they got to this. So, because like I said, I've seen so much stuff and it's social media, so who knows what. But there was one bit where so she doesn't have dairy. And apparently she would
Oh
call him
yeah,
during
yeah.
the night asking him for some warm milk, which was code for, you know,
Oh,
I know, I know. Soon as they did that, because, I mean, it takes a different turn and, we're daughters and, it just, it's a topic that you just don't want to think about.
well, no, but this adds to like my kind of thing of like there's different personalities on the go. Like, what if? And this is a wild theory, and I'm not a psychiatrist, so I can't. I'm not gonna like offering any kind of like this is what I
Mm,
think. But what if that is true and therefore she's got like I don't know like DID for example, so that there's these different alters
yeah,
that come in at different times, and the reason why she can't remember the crash is because there was a different like
yeah, person.
self
Yeah.
part that was driving the car at the time. Just gonna throw it out there.
And
I'm
the
adding that
stuff,
one in as an extra from all the others that are going on as well.
but if her dad has been doing that, how long's it been going on? And, whether you're a child, like a very young child, you're 5, you're 15, you're 25, it's wrong on all occasions. Like, do you know what I mean? But if that happens, especially, I mean, obviously, I don't know, but like when you're a kid, like how, if that is the case, how long it been going on? Like, because that would probably mess you up a bit, you know?
Yeah,
Um, and the fact that, the way she is with him because she tells him she loves him a lot, but that doesn't mean that it didn't happen. That happens a lot. Because people
yeah.
say, well, how can you still talk to such and such after they did that? But people do.
But even at 17, she's still young enough
Oh,
to
it's
maybe still be under in that kind of like
yeah,
fog space where she
yeah, yeah.
thinks that she has this special relationship with him or something. I mean, I don't want to entertain the idea that this is kind of true because it's fucking dark if it is, but it does happen, unfortunately.
It does, and but I think that's the thing with this particular case is there's so much stuff coming out,
Mm,
like and you do have to go through all of it to get to the truth. I don't think we will fully ever get to the truth of it, and even the
no.
stuff about her dad, because the thing is, like, I don't know whether that happened or not, and if she come out and said it didn't happen, I would take her word for it because I'm not going to no, you're lying, it did happen. I'm not going to do that because that's, to me, that you're not going to tell someone that they were if they weren't, because she may well have not been, but it's out there now. Whether it's true or not is irrelevant in the eyes of the world. They're
If it's
they're going
not
they're going
true,
to say it
that's
is.
really crap
Yeah.
behavior. Like
So
that's
yeah. So
appalling.
how did that, how did they reach that? So if she did ask, maybe asking for warm milk was her way of going, get me some, because people are like, yeah, but she's dairy free. And I'm like, yeah, but
Yeah, but she might
if,
be for her like
yeah, but if you,
representation on her social media, right? Like she could be, she might not even be vegan. Maybe she like scoffs like cheeseburgers when no one's looking.
yeah,
Like, you
but there's
never know,
also the
do you?
fact that if you
Probably
drank
not.
almond milk and you wanted some warm milk, you
Well, you
wouldn't
would
say
just
to your
say warm
partner, can I
milk.
have some warm almond milk? He knows that you only drink almond milk. So you would say,
Exactly.
can you get me some warm milk, please? And he
Yeah.
would then go and get you the almond milk because he knows that's what you drink. So if she only drank almond milk or whatever it was, she wouldn't,
Yeah.
if she said warm milk, he would be like, that's the almond milk.
But
It
also,
wouldn't,
if my daughter was messaging me at like whatever time in the morning at 16,
yeah,
17
I'm
as
just
well, saying, can
trying
you
to,
get me some more milk? I'm like, get your fucking self. I'm
yeah, no,
trying to
at that
sleep.
age, I'd be like,
Well,
unless she was poorly,
yeah, unless
yes,
she's
I'd be
poorly.
like, why are you messaging me at 3 o'clock in the morning to go and get
You
you
know where the
get you a
kitchen
drink?
is.
Yeah, yeah, get in there yourself. Um, that part of it, I think I'm just really hoping it's not true.
I do too. I just think that's, yeah, a whole another level of,
Mm.
yeah,
What did you
horrendousness
make
that
of
adds to it. But
because we haven't really talked about them much, but what did you make of the friends, the two girls, Rosie and, oh, I can't remember the other, Faith
Bubba?
was her name? Was it
Oh,
Faith?
the
The
girls. There
girls.
was, I think, I get a sense that one friend was like a very young friend from when
Yeah,
she was like primary school
yeah.
that wasn't part
Faith.
of the group.
Yeah.
And then the other friend that didn't talk to Netflix, I can kind of understand because sorry,
Didn't talk
not
to the lawyer,
Netflix,
yeah.
didn't talk to the lawyer or the police. I can kind of understand that if she's grown up to be wary of police, which in all fairness, she lives in America, so
Mm.
um, there's a sense of they're obviously trying to send Mackenzie down, and if you're that friend and you genuinely don't think that she's done it, you're not going to
Yeah.
speak to them. I honestly don't think there was anything that she said. I kind of felt like she was just being a friend, you know? It was just it. And this is where I think it was sticking with me so much afterwards because like the two friends, like so like her and Bubba, for example, who were in the actual group, they were like, she's lovely, like she's really nice, like we all hang out like every day. They don't I mean they're as blindsided by it as the parents are if that's the case, you know,
Yeah.
because and so that for me was interesting because I was like, if she was an absolute frigging brat and a cowbag, you would have thought at least one of the friends would have been like,
Yeah, but
yeah,
maybe they
she
were
should
too.
do it.
That's the thing. It's like
Yeah,
kind of
no.
the young girl, I think she was quite genuine, Faith, the
Mm,
younger one.
yeah,
Rosie, I don't know about that one. She
no.
there was something that put me off about her. I wouldn't trust her. Do you know what I mean? And also, I think because she was so quick to not think that I think it was I think the fact that she wouldn't talk was disrespectful to the boys. Like I get wanting
Yeah,
to have the
fair.
back of your friend, and it doesn't mean she has to go in and be like, you know, or
She's like this, that,
yeah,
yeah,
she's yeah,
yeah,
but she could have went in, spoke to them, and says, "Look, my personal view of it is, I don't think for 1 minute that she would have done that on purpose." She could have
yeah.
went and said that to them because by her shutting down and not speaking to them, what about who's speaking for the boys? Like you're worried
Well, it
about
might have
her.
helped Mackenzie actually, because later she's saying to Netflix, Mackenzie didn't smoke anything that night. She didn't drink anything. Like, well,
Yeah.
why didn't you tell that to
Well,
the police?
yeah, yeah. She
Those
was
are the
on a
questions that they
break. Yeah,
want answers to,
yeah. But
Talk
that's
to
what I
us about
mean. Is
her.
just I think
Yeah, it's
I
strange.
yeah I don't know the younger one like I said yeah but her I don't know there was just something the younger one I felt like was just talking about her experience of knowing her and being friends with her and kind of like
Yeah,
idolizing her a little bit the way sometimes a younger girl would an older girl or
yeah, yeah,
boys and stuff like that whereas the other one she to me had an element of Mackenzie in the sense where when she was talking about how you know I get like, oh, when I met her, I thought she was really cute and stuff like that, and
yeah.
but I had 200,000 followers and she only had a few thousand. Like, it's such a strange thing to say. I don't think I've ever in my entire life would have,
Think
like,
it's young girls.
yeah, but it just didn't, I don't know. It felt like she made a point of saying that, and I felt like to her, it was more a reality show the way I did with Mackenzie, the way I did with parents, but I didn't with the other girl. I felt she was quite genuine, the
Okay,
young
I
one.
I got the sense from her it was more of a case of they'd met through social media because that was how they met, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
And she had sort of taken Mackenzie under her wing to sort of help her build her online presence. So in that sense, it kind of didn't. It kind of made sense to me, if that
yeah.
makes
It just
sense.
sounded like bragging to me, you
Well, I
know.
guess I mean it kind of
Yeah,
is, right?
yeah,
There is
probably.
an element of bragging. Like I think these young teenagers, they get themselves on the internet and they build up a following, and there is some element of needing that world because
Mm.
there is a lot of influencers that do earn a lot of money now on the internet. A lot of them do decent money to the
Oh
point they can
God,
buy
yeah,
new
yeah,
houses with them, So, it's the new way to get, rich quick, although it's
yeah,
not, if that makes sense. But it's a version of being in your own sort of Hollywood without having to actually get all the
yeah,
way there. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's all just a bit crazy. I mean, the people I really feel for are the families of the two
The
boys,
boys,
Davion
yeah.
and
And I suppose at the
Dominic.
end of the day, we we don't know them. We don't know any of these people the way they know each other and all that
Sure,
kind of
yeah,
stuff. And this is just
yeah,
opinion. Um, and but I do think she should have spoken to the authorities in some form for the boys' sake, even if it was to
yeah,
say, I don't think she did that, but the refusing to, but was happy to do it online with a big smile on her face, and then the odd tears. It just didn't seem authentic to me.
You're gunning for, aren't you?
Yeah, but
I
yeah, I just
the
didn't,
one
I didn't take to her.
the one for me I think was Davion's dad.
Mm,
Because he obviously they were his foster parents and like they
yeah, and the
taken him and his
sister.
sister in. I loved his sister. I thought she,
Oh, I
she
felt
really was just
so
like,
sorry for the sister. Out of
again,
anyone, to be
she's
honest
really
with you.
like
Yeah,
sent her to prison and make sure she goes
yeah,
down for the longest
yeah.
sentence. I think she genuinely thinks, and maybe she knows her a bit more than some of the others do.
Well,
Well,
exactly,
not a bit
because
more, but has been able to see it from an outside perspective and not be sort of clouded by being in
and
that relationship with Mackenzie. But
but she also seemed to me like she had her head screwed on. She was very young, but she knew what she was. She was very aware of what was going on, and
they
she
have to
seemed
be.
very
Yeah.
grown up to me. She
Yeah.
seemed more grown up than the others.
Yeah, well, probably from a beginning, I imagine, from sort of having
Yeah, and maybe you don't know what Davion had told her in the past about situation. Oh, this happened, that happened. So she,
Mackenzie like kicked off
she's
again.
heard
Yeah.
stories of the dramas of it all that we may
Yeah.
not have.
Yeah.
Um, and plus, it was her brother.
Yeah.
And you need someone to be mad at, and you need someone to blame, and it does look very, from that video footage, it does look like it was done on purpose, crashed into the wall, we got the little
Yeah.
black box. It's kind of like straightforward, really, to
Oh
me.
yeah, it's a simple case of put your foot down, not
Yeah,
let it off the
exactly.
gas,
And there was
and head
plenty of
straight
time to
into the
stop,
wall.
plenty of time for her
Yeah.
to take her, because they went, she could have pulled up a bit sooner, and she didn't.
Yeah.
So, and then with who was it, Dominic's family,
Mm.
they, yeah, they were like the sister and the dad. I felt
Yeah,
sorry for them as
I
well.
get a sense that Dominic's mum and other brother weren't, because I think the other brother lived next
I
door.
don't think they wanted to be in the
Well, they
documentary.
don't want to be in the documentary,
Yeah.
and I don't think they were a massive fan of Mackenzie either, to be honest.
No,
But
no. Because again, we don't know what
or
Dominic
are a
conversations
massive fan.
Dominic.
Yeah.
I know they said a few bits, but like we don't know what personal conversations that they had, and you know maybe that's why they're so like, no, she did it on purpose. How many times have we had these problems, like, and stuff like that, so
Yeah. Well, also, I guess you don't know what's kind of going on because they were obviously dealing drugs to the group,
mm,
but I don't know if there was because they sort of, Dominic had. I'm not saying that Dominic's a
yeah,
drug dealer or anything,
yeah.
but I don't know if it kind of extended out past that, and there was, or whether it was just sort of like drugs within the group.
I got the feeling it was
Um,
amongst them, but I
I
may be
think so.
wrong here. He can get it
And
for you, type thing.
it's kind of sad because at the beginning, when they like these first couple of scenes when they were all just at the beach together, and I was just like, oh, they look quite kind of
A young
cool,
group of friends.
like,
Yeah,
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 all just hanging out together, having a really good time. And Netflix, as it always does, puts a twist in halfway through, and things start getting very sinister. But I guess that is the unfortunately how it all went down. But
yeah.
yeah, yeah, fascinating. I came out sort of like having a little bit of that like maternal instinct in there and being like, holy shit, this 17-year-old's gonna go to prison for like years for something that potentially she, in her view didn't do.
Mm,
Um, but equally, like there was a lot there as well for me, it was the evidence. It was just sort
yeah.
of like, I don't care about the social media stuff and the way that she presents herself on the internet, because loads of kids
No,
do that.
before
But
I
it was the
didn't.
evidence for me.
The
Yeah.
before her this all happened, yeah, knock
Yeah,
yourself out, do what you want.
sure.
But the way she's conducting herself now with regards to
Since
social, it's
then,
a very
yeah,
different thing,
I haven't
you
seen
know.
much of that. I must
Yeah,
have a look at it.
it's a
Um,
very, on our Facebook page, actually, I follow the Free Mackenzie page because I'm having a look and see. I was having a look seeing. Um,
you've gone
but
into a real deep dive with
oh,
this.
I was fascinated by it, yeah. But yeah, like I get, you see some of the stuff on social media with the young ones, and you're like, okay. But they're young, and maybe when I was 14, if social media was a thing, I would have done it too.
Oh,
I'll never
sure.
know. I'll
Yeah,
never know.
probably. Yeah.
But then some kids don't do it, so hopefully I would have been one of those.
Yeah.
Um, but I actually I don't have any sympathy for the girl whatsoever. None. not a drop. And the only person I kind of out of the three, the mum, the dad, and her, have a smidgen of sympathy for is the mother, because I feel like the mother is just pure panicked the whole time about the whole thing. Like hers is coming solely from, you know, the worry, because obviously we hear about things in prison, like, going
Yeah,
bad and stuff like that,
exactly, yeah.
is the worry and the not being able to go to her. So, if you can't call up and be like, Mum, come get me, this type of thing. So the mother, I think all this is done out of pure despair. Like she just doesn't. The dad just is like, whatever, man. Like, he's probably high as we talk. Mackenzie thinks it's a reality show. But the mother, I
Yeah.
do feel like there's a little bit of sympathy for her, because I can see.
Well, you're coming at it from that perspective as well.
Yeah,
I think
and
any parent would just be like, this is not
yeah,
happening to my kid.
well,
I'm gonna, and I think, mentally you are gonna defend against it because, like I said, what's the alternative is that she has to accept that she's
yeah,
raised a
and she might
fucking
truly
hideous
believe,
person, right? Like,
it's
you know.
it doesn't even, like, if I heard a horrific story of something you did, I'd find it hard. I'd be like, did she though? Like, if there wasn't proof, if there wasn't solid proof,
Yeah, yeah.
like if this was you, right? I would
You're like,
find it
what?
hard. No, but
She
I
doesn't
would
even
find it
smoke
hard
weed.
to believe that you would intentionally do that, you
Well,
know?
yeah, well, no. I'd like to think about it
So
with
the mother, it's, we know people in our lives
Yeah,
where we're like, no, no, we've had stuff said to us before
yeah.
about people and we're like, nah, that doesn't sound like them. But
Me
when
too,
it's your
because
daughter,
yeah,
it's heightened.
yeah. It just goes to show, isn't it? We are different people around each and every single different person in our lives. The person that you are with your best friend is not the person you're going to be with your grandparent. Um,
No, no,
it, you know,
exactly. I agree
but
with that.
in theory, the idea is that it shouldn't shift and change too much. That, at the core, there is still,
Yeah, you're still
um,
you, but
yeah,
there's some things
but
that I don't think are appropriate around, like I'm still me around everyone, but you get different versions because I don't know you as well, or like you said, you're your grandparents. I'm
yeah,
not going to
it's
be like, come on,
difficult.
gran, let's do some shots. Like, do you know
Well,
what I mean?
I think like the version that her parents have in their mind versus the version that other
Mm,
people from like her school, for example, because there was a lot of stuff on there about like
yeah,
her being a bit of a mean girl, basically, like pretty much a bully.
I
And
think
you're just
though,
like, okay,
I think
interesting.
their version of her though is not is hindering her.
Yeah, I
And
don't
I
think so.
think it's
I think
hindering
she
the
needs
case. They
some
need to stop
serious
talking.
mental health support.
Yeah,
They need to get away from all the social
yeah.
media
They need to
and
get away from the
like,
circus.
yeah.
That's what
It's
it
not,
is.
it doesn't help her. I
No.
think if anything, that's just adding to it. Yet
Yeah.
again, it's like, here's a concert, here's something
Mm,
you've done, but
mm,
here are these wonderful consequences that have come out of it. Like, look how famous you are in the UK, and you're like, you killed two people.
hmm
Whether you say that you passed out or not, you still killed two people. You don't, you know,
And also, you've got to think about, like, she's loving all this attention when she's not seeing it
why
for
would you
all
give
its
that attention?
glory. But when she leaves prison, some of that attention's going to be bad.
Yeah,
And it's a
yeah,
very
yeah.
different, she's
Well,
in a bit of a
it's
bubble at the
sympathize
moment
with
because
her.
she's locked up. But when you come out, like like you see this with some people that come out, it's an absolute like shit show.
Yeah,
And it's not always in a positive manner. And it's not going to be, because some people think she damn right did it. Like, do you know what I mean? And then
yeah.
she's going to make money out of it. She's going to be famous because of it. Well, that kind of famous, not, Hollywood famous. But, it's just, I think her parents are doing her no favors. I don't
I don't think it's
disagree
good
with
for her
them
mental health, but yeah,
trying everything they can to get her out.
that's
But
fine. I don't mind that.
they're playing into this game instead of just going like, do you know what? I'm going to work, in the background, trying to get you out, getting all the information here. Going to get off social media. If someone wants to
Yeah,
set up their own bloody page, off they go. Going to get off social media. I'm going to work with the lawyers. And then when I come to you, we're just going to chat, see how you are. You can tell me about your day. I'll tell you about my day. But we're not going to talk about who said what on the comment section.
yeah. We don't. She doesn't need to know
No,
that. Like,
no. no.
she's reached,
Good or bad, even if it's
you
a
know,
good comment, you don't need to,
the other
because
side of the
the
world.
problem is with the good comment, it plays into it.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I
it's not,
mean?
I don't see how that benefits her
Yeah, it's like a
by,
fan to her. It's like a
yeah,
fan,
exactly.
you know?
You know? Yeah.
Um, so yeah, but it'd be interesting to see where this goes. Um, like I said, we obviously don't know everything because it's chopping and changing like the weather.
Yeah.
But I will be curious to see where it goes. And if, she does the full 15 years, I would be very interested to see what she's like when she comes out. I
Yeah.
think she'll get out early. I think she'll get out early
Yeah.
unless she does, which is a shame because it's like what I don't get with the sentences, because she got 15 years for each person, but she gets to do them at the same time.
What?
Instead,
What do you
yeah,
mean?
they've got this thing in America where it's hang on, I've
She
written down
just does 15
it.
years.
Yeah, so you got concurrently or consecutively, and so basically you either
Oh,
do them one after the other. So like,
okay.
when someone says, oh, you're serving 10 life sentences because you've
Yeah.
murdered 10 people, you're
Yeah.
doing one, and then when that one's done, you start your next one, and then that one's done, you start your next one.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, she got 15 years for both of them, um and she is serving them together.
Together
So
at the
she's
same
serving
time.
15 years. So they're getting seven, in my head, so 7.5.
How does that work?
Yeah.
Does she just get
Yeah.
like less custard on her dessert at lunchtime? Like, what's the deal? Like, do you see what I mean? Like,
You're harsh. Less
but you know
custard.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, like how can you? So what's the like? If you just serve those two 15-year sentences together at the same time, i.e., 15 years, like
Yeah.
how does that work for someone who perhaps only only but someone that has murdered one person and has got 15 years, they still do the same time, but like
Yeah. So
do they
she's
get
getting,
less
yeah, no, it's
accommodation?
weird.
Like what
It's
happened?
weird. So 15 years to life is what it is.
Right, okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, so concurrently. So yeah, which means she serves them at the same time.
Mm,
Um, which so she will not be eligible for parole apparently until October 2037. So maybe she will
okay.
do it all. Maybe I was wrong there. Um, oh, hang on.
Oh no, because that's only
Maximum
10 years.
term. While there is no fixed release date, a Cleveland 19 News report notes that the judge in her 2023 bench trial stated there is a strong likelihood she will spend the rest of her life in prison.
That's what I mean. So I don't
Mm.
know
I
because
think that's like, this is your but it says 15 to life. So 15 to life.
yeah, I
But
don't know how that
but
works then.
the sentences she's serving at the moment for 15 years, so up until 2037, is for both boys.
Right.
Um, so both are 15, and then it will see. So I think as well that that's why she needs to kind of back down with all this crap that she's
Well,
doing
yeah,
with the
because
phone
she
calls and
hasn't
stuff, because
learned
she needs to
anything. She's
show,
not getting out.
exactly, but she needs to show remorse. She needs to show that she's really sorry. She needs to show that she's more interested in bettering herself
Yeah.
than in prison they do things, don't they? They can do courses, like
Yeah,
some
you get your
prisons come out with,
form and
some of them come out with law degrees, like, do you know what I mean? So use that time wisely. Don't be thinking when I come out I'm going to be famous.
I mean, you know, if I was in a position, I'd probably do a law degree. It might help me in the future for my next prison sentence. Do you know what I mean? I am joking, I'm joking. But like, yeah, like there's things that she could be doing whilst she's in there
Mm.
to work on it. And
And that's what her parents should be doing.
yeah, but it's like, you know, it's like the families were saying, you know, if she gets let out, she can go on and have a family and have kids and live her
Yeah,
life. Like those two boys don't, they're not going to get
yeah,
to do that, you know.
no, no.
They're not going
It's
to.
a shame. It's just the whole thing. I mean, it's a shame for those two boys mainly, obviously, and their family. But that, say it was, I think this is the case, that she did do it on purpose. There was an argument, she was angry, and that this was the result of that anger. But she's
Mhm.
fucked up her life as well. She's
Well, she
fucked up her
has.
parents' life. She's fucked up the future of, kids or whatever it is. Because it doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean she will get to have them when she comes out, because then she has to meet someone. And,
Yeah, good point.
it's just there's so many families here and so many friends that are destroyed. And it'd be interesting to see if the friends stick around, you
Yeah.
know? That's one thing
Yeah.
to keep an eye out as well, because at the moment, it's still quite new.
Like, are they even going to visit her in prison or anything like that? They're
I think
just
they call her because
okay, so they're
she's in
trying.
Ohio. And where did she? Oh no, yeah, she did it in Ohio as well. So she's in, but then America's a big state. They've got big
Yeah,
states in them. So I don't know how far it is. It could be like 4 hours, so it's harder to pop up. But she does say a lot. Get them to text me, get them to ring me, and all that. So I don't. I got the impression they weren't, but
interesting. Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of phone calls. So
Okay.
so yeah, so there it was happened in Strongville, Ohio, and the prison is 2 hours and 27 minutes away, which isn't that far.
Mm.
I don't think that I'd drive that far to
Not
see my
not
kid.
for America anyway. Like
No,
it's
no,
actually
God,
not
no,
far.
no.
No. Yeah,
Um,
because everything's dry, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, yeah. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be an interesting one to watch. It will die down, like all the hype around it will die down because that we get
Yeah.
these types of cases, don't we? And everyone goes nuts for them, and then unfortunately, something else happens, and Netflix are coming out. Documentaries on true crime seem to be coming out fast and furious, don't they?
It's having its moment, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and I think there'd be more and more. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with this one.
Yes. Well, I'm sure you'll keep me informed because I feel like you're going to keep tabs on this, aren't you?
That's because I do with social media. Yeah, but yeah, it was coming up, and I was like, oh my God! But I did have to turn it off today because I was just like, I can't listen to it anymore. I can't listen to it anymore. I could have gone even deeper, but honestly, listening to her voice was just too much sometimes. It was just too much. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up here. And the next one we're going to record two things on Monday. We're going to do the Slender Man film, which is
Yeah.
obviously a creepypasta story, but also we had that Slender Man killings.
Mhm.
And Goodfellas.
Good
Forget
for
about it.
Forget about it. I can't
Forget
do
about it.
it.
Yeah, we sound just like them. Yeah, so hopefully you're listening to those. And yeah, you want to get in contact, we're on theroomwentdark@gmail.com or the room went dark on social medias. We shall chat to you soon. Bye.
Bye.